I would like to call to order the regular DDA meeting for March 20th, 2024 at 6 p.m. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Can you take the roll, please?
Sure. Chairperson Stavely.
Present.
Vice Chair Walker.
Here.
Secretary Walkonis.
Here.
Trustee Bazzi. Trustee Kalaf. Trustee Hyder.
Here.
Trustee Badin. Trustee Barry. Trustee Nasserdine.
Here.
Mayor Jacobs. Here. Quorum is met.
Okay. I think we're expecting Mr. Berry, but he'll probably be a few minutes late for his schedule. We are looking for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Nay. Passes, what, it's 6-0?
Yep.
Okay. We have any presentations? No community events? Call for public comments, although we don't have anyone in attendance tonight, so I think we can just pass that. Number 8, we have items for consideration, the consent agenda. Do we have?
You want items 1, 2, and 3 all together?
Yes, please.
All right, I'll make the motion.
Support.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Nay. Passes 6-0. Next up, we have action items. Nominations for voting for officers. So, do we have anyone from the committee? Who was on the committee? I was not here at the last meeting.
Lori's on the committee. Right
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
And Dr. Hyder.
Oh, and Dr. Hyder.
Dr. Hyder.
Okay. So, do we have
So
any nominations for officers?
I think the only ones that we came up with were you and Randy for chair and vice.
Okay, so we don't have anyone for secretary. And you don't want to continue to fill that role?
Well, I don't think he'll be here, so I think it's useless.
Well, you can fill it until you're not.
I'll pass.
Okay. All right, John, is there anything that we have to do if we don't have anyone volunteering for the secretary position?
You can nominate, anybody is welcome to nominate somebody that's present or on the board.
Okay,
There was pretty exhaustive search to fill that role over the past couple of weeks.
Okay.
With no luck.
okay. So I guess for election of officers, so if we have a nomination for myself as chair, are there any other nominations for chair? Just asking as part of procedure. If there are no other nominations, we can take a vote. All those in favor of myself remaining chair?
Actually, in your packet there.
Yeah.
Is there suggested wording?
Okay.
So the chair would, next item in the election as officers is request a motion to accept the nominating committee slate. So you need to accept that first. So a motion needs to be made for that as a whole.
Okay. So we need a motion to accept the nomination slate?
So moved.
Support?
Support.
Support from Dr. Hyder. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passes 6-0.
Now, after that motion is passed, the chair opens the floor for any additional nominations for officers. Nominations can continue until there are no other nominations, at which the chair asks 3 times.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for the board. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay, if not, then I declare the nominations closed. And next, we need to approve the slate of officers, correct? So we will take
Correct.
a motion for the slate of officers to be approved. Do we have a motion? Okay, Dr. Hyder's motion. Any support?
Support.
From Mayor Jacobs. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Okay, next item is the purchase policy review.
So Secretary, what are we going to do for that at this point? Just wait?
You can fill that moving forward.
Yeah, I don't think it's
It's
critical.
just gonna stay vacant till we,
Okay.
Yeah,
Correct. The purchasing policy was asked to be reviewed. If you get that purchasing policy, the correction or the addition is in red at the bottom. Basically, it just states that the chairperson, vice chair, or secretary, people in the positions of the board, is recommended for all items $1,500.01 and up on check requests that are submitted for invoice payments.
okay. And as I understand that, that is not for regular contract items that we pay on a normal basis, correct?
Correct. It states, actually, it's in all caps right there, procedures are intended for purchases of items or products and are not required for services or services performed under existing contracts.
Okay. All right, so that is the only change, so we need a motion to approve
All motion approved.
the purchasing policy.
I support it, second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Next item for action is the MDA annual dues approval.
The Michigan Downtown Association is a driving force in the interest in the growth of downtowns and communities. They're a statewide organization that encourages the development and redevelopment of communities and downtowns. We've been a member for many years as they host events, workshops, and seminars that could be beneficial to our district. The renewal fee is $575 for the year.
Okay. Was there an
Motion to
item?
approve.
Was there an item in here for that?
That's
I
what I
don't-
was just gonna ask.
I don't see it.
It's just listed on the expanded agenda item sheet.
Okay, all right, but there's no invoice or anything for
It
that?
came through electronically,
Okay, all right, and how much did you say that was?
$575.
575. Okay, so you need a motion to approve the annual dues.
I motion to approve.
I have
Support.
Support from Secretary Walkonis. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Next item is Music in the Park sponsorship for the GCBA.
So this was sent over to us. We did sponsor last year for a $200 sponsorship, and that covers all of their event dates, which are 3 dates listed on that paper that you have, June, July, and August. It's at the board's wishes to sponsor that again, or not, or sponsor it in a different denomination.
So the different denominations,
Are 750, 1,200, and 2,500.
right. So do they already have any of these others that are filled, and what does it get you? Wasn't there something that detailed what the sponsorship included?
This was the only paper that they sent over. Vendor, you could set up a vendor table if you wished, and then I believe they advertise for you at the event. In our case, I think it's a supportive situation, and also an opportunity to, they support us, we support them kind of situation.
Yeah.
So like, do we know if like on the banners, if it has like, sponsored by the DDA or anything along those lines,
Yeah.
just for that level, the 200?
So
Yes.
it's a backup
that's what they-
singer sponsor, so we're sponsoring, looks like the 200 goes to backup singer sponsor.
Correct.
Okay, there's just no detail on what that sponsorship.
This is the only information
Covers.
that they sent over.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any input on doing a higher sponsorship, or do we want to stay at the same level?
I'd stay at the same level we did last year.
Can we, is this to be, for what date? It's June, so we have time?
So it's June, July, and August?
Can we maybe get a follow-up on what it is that we're sponsoring?
Certainly.
And then make a better
Yeah.
call on it?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think they already have their bands all set for the dates and everything, so maybe we just get a little more clarity
Certainly.
on what that includes, and if we want to bump it up, because it includes something that we might want to benefit from. So we can table that until the next meeting and send some additional information from the GCBA.
Yeah, well, you got it as an action item, so there's got to be a
So
motion to
we need a
table.
motion to table it. Anybody?
I'll make a motion to table.
Well, I thought you just
Okay.
did. I'll second.
Okay. Support from Secretary Walconis. All those in favor to table, or to move it to table?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Okay. Next, we have other business. We have the RFQ for the attorney services that was put out for bid in January, I think, or early February.
Yep.
Actually, late February into early March. The final day was March 8th. In front of you is a stack of 6 different legal services firms that submitted within the timeline. These are for your review and discussion at next month's meeting, because it's quite a bit of information. There's, all the details are listed in each one of these, including pricing, and if there's retainer fees and things of that nature. But I encourage you to do your research on it, because, you know, these firms all have like history and are currently working with other cities and governments, so on and so forth.
Do we know if any of that is detailed in the RFQ, like the other communities that they represent?
Yes, they have listed in here each other community or government type that they represent that has similarity, and then they have background information on the people that work at their law firm and their credentials, so on and so forth.
Okay, specifically representing DDAs.
Correct.
All right, so we can have those reviewed for next meeting, and, you know, maybe we can put together something, you know, that shows all of the qualifications and fees and services
Certainly.
that we can compare. Next item up, we have for banner program for military veterans and first responders. John, do you want to cover that?
Certainly. In your packet is a concept idea of a banner program, and the goal is to represent military and first responders. What would happen basically is we would create, the submittal people would fill out this application, and then we would create banners that would hang on the light poles in the downtown district. And the idea would be hanging them from like Memorial Day till Veterans Day. This is like just a sample of what this could look like. It needs a little attention and tweaking. One of the things on here, it says that an honoree must be a current or former resident of Garden City. I don't know how you feel about that. You might have a family member. You might be a resident yourself and have a family member that you want to honor. But either which way, I think it's an opportunity to highlight some military and first responders.
So do we know exactly how many banners we can put on the larger poles that will accommodate these?
Certainly. We have 20 poles that are set up, and that's 2 banners per pole, so 40 banners total.
So 40 banners. And then,
Uncle.
did you get any information from Sinorama or anyone else on what the timing would be or the
Sinorama,
cost?
They do it in
Sinorama is at about $125 per banner, but he did state that that number might go down depending on the number. And his timeline was no problem. He said he could have those done, I think he said 2 weeks tops.
So 2 weeks, so we could potentially have these up for Memorial Day this year so that we can have it on
Yeah, because
display.
that's the end of May, and this is,
Right.
mid-March, so.
Okay.
Is this only, do we let the residents know about this?
Yeah, I think the intent is to open it up to all.
To anybody?
The challenge is you only have 40 banners,
Right,
Correct.
So,
first 40 that come in.
right, I think that could be your situation there. And then exactly what you would like to have on the banner. In this case, there's a sample. I think Trustee Walker probably has a different sample, but we're looking for the picture of the person, what branch they're in, and their years of service, or if they
Do
did
you-
active service.
Does anybody think that it would be, considerate maybe to have half the polls for, like, memorial for those that have been lost, and then maybe half for, active or retired military?
I think it'd
'cause-
be worth it, just selecting through everything, just the first 40 that come in.
Okay.
It wouldn't be just the least.
Well,
Workload.
with that, I think if you start with residents as opposed to family of residents, you'd have to start there. Then you might fill your 40 or come close to it before you open that up to family members of residents. You know what I'm saying?
Or you're saying this would be
Current
limited
residents.
to active or former military that actually are residents now?
That should be the priority.
Or
Since
memorialized.
there's only 40,
Right.
right? Since there's only 40, I would start there before we open that up to,
To outside.
yeah.
But these are military people, they're not just Garden City people, so they're for the United States, they're not just for Garden City. I
Yeah.
think it should be open to anybody.
I think if, as a veteran, and I passed around, this was my uncle in Huntington, West Virginia. They got his picture, Huntington Hero, and then they got his name, and he served in the United States Marine Corps. I think anybody that grew up in Garden City and served their country, if their family wants to put them on a banner on Ford Road, we should do it. They grew up in Garden City. I don't care if it's a guy that served in Vietnam, World War II. If they grew up in Garden City and they left and went and served their country, and the family wants to recognize them, we should do it. If we only got 40, then the first 40 that apply, you can't do it for everybody, but
Right.
hometown hero. You grew up in Garden City, you left and went and served your country, and maybe you got injured, you got killed, or maybe you just served in the war and came back, but your family wants to honor you and drive down Ford Road and see your picture up there. I think we should do it. I think it makes Garden City a patriotic city if we do that, like these other cities. I've seen several cities in my travels that have these banners up, and it's pretty neat to drive down the main road and banner after banner after banner. It's very cool, and I think, like I said, that's my opinion. Now, I only got one vote, but if you grew up in Garden City and served your country and your family wants to put you up there, I think we should do it.
So you're saying we
Isn't
should
that the
stick to
same
Garden City residents?
That's what I said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Garden City residents first. If we don't have 40 people that
Then
come
you
in,
open
then
it
we can
up.
open it up
Yeah, then you
to,
open it up, and
you know,
I'm sure you can get 40 out of Garden City, I would think.
Another option could be, there's approximately 6 months between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. You could split that time in half, 3 months, these 40 people, and then 3 months for another 40. If you wanted to,
I'd rather do that year by year.
year.
Keep them up for the year, so they get Memorial Day, they get 4th of July, Veterans Day. Keep them up for that season of
Yeah,
Sure.
and here's another thought. Let's say we get several people that want to do it. We got a list. Well, you get 1 year, and then the next year we continue down the list. So,
right.
your picture could be up this year for your family, and then next year we go down the list because we got 40 more, I don't know.
I like
But-
that.
That's a
know what
good
I mean?
idea. Now,
Yeah,
this
I
is a
like that.
sponsorship that whoever
Yeah, that
wants,
makes sense.
would we pay for it, or is it the
So it would be a
individual pays for
it would be a $5,000 cost to the DDA at $125 per banner. If
The
we,
family would pay 125.
And then
Is
our
that what
initial
it-
cost is 5,000?
The way this is written, it states the cost to purchase a banner would be X amount of dollars. At the program completion, which would be the end of the year, the banner would be returned or given to the family of the ones that wanted it up, and then they they would have it.
so we would expect those people that submit to pay for these themselves, or the
No,
DDA
because
would
if it's
do it?
125 by 40, that's 5,000.
Right.
So that's the 5,000?
Right.
The DDA is not paying that, it's the individual paying times 40.
But why wouldn't the DDA sponsor that and just cover the cost? Because maybe, I mean, it could be, an elderly woman whose husband, and she can't really afford the expense.
So
So-
you're saying the 125 is paid by the individual?
It could be.
Oh, it could be.
Okay.
Yeah, you could set it up however you want.
I mean,
This was just a layout that we had already started. so.
Or you could share it.
What would that, let's see.
It's 125
also-
times 40,
also
but it'd
share
be
that cost.
$5,000 a year, pretty much.
I mean, I think the DDA has the funds to be able to do that at this time. I mean, maybe that changes down the road, but,
If the DDA has the funds, I motion to pay for it, 100%.
Well, it'd be $5,000 for the 40 banners. And then you said it's a $5,000,
no,
that would
No,
be it?
that is
No,
a
that
five-
is it.
So
That's
it'd be
the cost.
$5,000 period would pay for everything.
for this year.
Oh, it'd be per year, right?
Well, I mean, it could change, right? I mean, costs can go up. For this year, it's 5,000 to cover 40 banners.
I don't know why, right now, I think we have the money to cover it, so I'm
Well,
not
then
sure.
let's do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do that.
okay, so we need a motion.
I'll make the
I
motion.
motioned it.
Okay, Dr. Hyder,
I want to do the motion.
we'll call Dr. Hyder motion.
Motion,
Lori,
motion.
We have support
Motion in the ocean.
from Secretary Walconis.
We do.
So the DDA will sponsor the purchase of these banners, and we'll just have to work on the design and having the families send in their pictures and information,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Do we know the best way to disseminate that, Mark? Could we do it like in the water bill? Would that be something we could put in?
We could, but it'll, obviously,
It'll take a while to get
it's
to
not
them.
going to get there by Memorial Day. I'm not sure how we would get it out before Memorial Day.
So what about the Legion Riders or, VFW?
I think you do a lot of different avenues. One is your social media avenue, one is
Sure.
your city's website avenue. Another one is through the communications department, doing a short clip video with all the contents and the information that would go out. All those things are viable. We would just have to put together that.
Oh, do you
mean,
think we could
have-
put it on the banner for the city hall? Like to,
You could, but it'd be hard for people to see as they're driving by. I think our website, go down to the American Legion, maybe put up something, once we have a banner and what we know what we're doing and what we want on there, the VA offices down at Radcliffe would be a good spot.
okay.
I think those would be your biggest spots to get people.
What kind of turnout do we have at the VA at Radcliffe?
Veteran Services, not VA.
Oh, I'm sorry, Veteran
Veteran
Services.
Services, the traffic's picking up more and more each week.
Okay,
We've been there a year now, in March.
okay.
Now, we've just hit 1 year. So we're seeing more traffic.
Okay,
But couldn't it still go on the banner and just,
Once we get it going, sure, we can put
I'm just
something on the
saying to
back.
say, inquire at City Hall, anything.
I would,
just
again, because it would be smaller
inquire
print,
with the DDA.
it would probably be something like gardencity.org. Our website would probably be the spot to put on the bottom of the banner, but I think that'd be a tough see. I think once we figure out how we want to do it and everything, what it's going to look like, once it gets into the buzz, and
Yeah,
then
all over.
on the website, on the different service places, American Legion and that, I think that's where you're gonna
Front
get,
page, right, on the Garden City website?
I'm
That's
sure
what
it'll be
anybody's gotta
right
look
up, well, it
for, right?
rotates right through, so I guess depending on when you look at it, it could be the front page,
Yeah.
right? Because it scrolls to the website, but it would be on our front, yes, it would be on our front
Would
page.
the banner say sponsored by?
I would imagine we
Whatever we
get it,
put on it.
whatever we want to put on it.
So I have a better, another idea. The DDA is here to service the businesses in the DDA. So why can't this be shipped out to maybe businesses that are in the DDA to sponsor half of the banners or a quarter of the banners, and then we recoup the money from the businesses,
You do that too.
right?
Yeah.
So instead of.
I don't think we could force, I don't think we could force them, but we could ask
No,
if,
we could add, I mean, if businesses want to sponsor 20 banners,
yeah, it'd be $2,500.
we'll have their name on 20 banners. You know, if they want to sponsor 10 banners,
This banner sponsored by.
sponsored by, you know. And, I mean,
Do
you're
that.
bound to have 40 businesses in the DDA, right?
Yeah, we could. I mean, the only thing I would see with that is you might take away, might look more like you're commercializing it, like it's an advertisement instead of honoring the veteran.
Yeah,
No, I mean, it's going to be it's
I
going
think
to,
it's better by the
they're,
DDA.
they're,
And how do you
we're honoring
prioritize?
them. In honor of them, the DDA and the business has sponsored to put their picture up there.
How do you prioritize the businesses that may or may not be interested? Like you
Well-
only get to
Let's say.
sponsor one?
Let's say business X wants to sponsor 10, so they're paying 10 times 125. And then,
What happens if you do 10 and Doctor, he does 10 and we got 60,
next year is another year, and then they can go on the other 10.
okay, so you wouldn't
So it
want
just kinda
to
be-
just
it
go,
becomes a
these are
rolling-
sponsored by,
Yeah, it becomes a rolling, just like we're getting more people coming in next year, then the sponsors will keep coming in next year. It's not like it's a one-time sponsorship for 20 years. You're just doing it.
Well,
for a
maybe
year.
we can limit it to say you can only sponsor 5, you know?
No, I think that,
To
I
start.
think it takes away though, really.
Right.
I
But
mean,
that's all you
the
can do is
city's doing it
40
for
is-
him and now the
is it
city's
the
not.
cross-section,
business
Middle
is
Belt,
doing it
and
for him,
Ford
not
Road?
the city.
Yeah.
All the way across.
You know, it kind of takes away from what we're trying to do, isn't it? Doesn't it?
I'm more for not putting that sponsorship on there or just putting provided by DDA, the DDA.
That's what I think too.
I just think you take away from the veteran.
That's fine.
I know it's advertising for a business, but I think you're commercializing the veteran now,
Yeah.
as opposed to honoring him. We're
So is it gonna say DDA anywhere on
100%,
there?
Mark.
yeah. I think at the bottom it should say maybe provided by DDA or sponsored by DDA or something with the
So
DDA, you know, some kind of
it's no-
wording that says DDA because we're paying for it.
Right.
Or it's in the DDA area, but not making it like, come support my, you know, Dr. Hyder, you know, Dental put out, is paying for 20 of these. You know, that's, to me, that's advertising for you and it takes away from the veteran,
Gotcha.
is what, that would be my opinion. If I seen it and it just said, you know, provided by the DDA, we're not looking for any,
Just throwing it out there.
So,
I
Completely agree, 100%.
so,
I just think it would take away from honoring the veteran versus making it, commercializing it. You know, it's like, to me, it's like a jersey in sports that has, you know, the gas station or, you know, 7-Eleven on the jersey. You're, to me, you're taking away from,
I agree with him. The only time we'll probably ask the businesses if we can afford it. But since we have the funds, I think that the city should provide it.
$5,000 a year, we have the funds.
Okay, let's make a motion, let's vote.
so wait, I have another question, because this says here specifically military and first responders. Are we doing both, or are we limiting that to just military only?
It's up to you, the board.
Right. What is your input?
I would start with military
I was-
first.
Yeah, military is what,
I would
So
go through-
military is going to get the priority.
I believe so, unless, I guess the distinction I would look at is if we had any first responders that maybe died in the line of service, which to my knowledge, we haven't. So
right.
I would give that the first recognition to our veterans of,
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are gonna be people that are gonna put their names and like a little synopsis of why them, and then it's gonna be presented to us and we're gonna select those people? Is this how it's gonna be? It's gonna be a panel discussion where, okay, we're gonna select these 40 people, or it's just the first 40 that
It's
come
going to
in?
be the first 40, I believe, that come in.
I think the
And it's
first
their
40
service
that meet
dates.
the requirements,
Sure.
Yeah.
you know, and then again, it's for a 1-year thing. Again, I would say Memorial Day through Veterans Day, have them up. So we'd probably have to have a deadline of going forward, like April 1st, of having all the names and pictures, so we have time to get them up before Memorial Day.
What's the turnaround time for this company to print them?
2 weeks.
You said 2 weeks.
I say, it'll be
So-
tough to get it started right now for Memorial Day, so
I don't think so. I
No,
think you'll
I-
get a lot of
yeah.
responses. I think
so.
if we can get
if
the
we
word
can get
out.
it out there. But like John said, social media, the city's website, if we have, I think we should absolutely put together a flyer that should be posted somewhere in City Hall, maybe even over at the police department, you know, that they can see. Fire department, I don't know how many people walk in there, but,
City will be more than happy to put them,
okay.
Yeah,
up
at the
everywhere.
Radcliffe Center, yeah, all the,
If
Oh,
you
yeah,
guys need
that's a
to
good
use the
idea.
billboards
Yeah.
at the yard, you guys are more than welcome to use them too,
Okay.
on both sides.
Yeah, perfect.
Is this the flyer?
We have 70 days from now to Memorial Day. I don't see any reason why this can't happen. That is,
That is, do they help make this banner, this flyer?
this is like a layout of what we can do.
Okay.
So a couple of things that it says on here, if you want just military, we'll take the first responder part off. And then this talks about a biography or a booklet that we could put together to go with that. Or maybe we could do that in electronic version to give a little bit more information about the veteran or active military person. And then there is a spot on here if you wanted to have people donate, we can pull that off. And then really, I think it's important to know what is going to go on the banner. In the picture, it shows honoring our veterans at the top, and then, of course, a picture with the name, and then it designates which branch of the armed forces they were in, and their time, if they were in duty, or if they're still in duty, or if they're a veteran and were in, you know, a post-war or something.
I like Randy's, you know, like Garden City Heroes. How does everybody feel about that? Instead of honoring our veterans, because, you know, we may be having at some point
Yeah,
some
if we're
first
limiting it to
responders.
Garden City.
Yeah, I think it should be Garden City Heroes.
Good with that.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, the design,
Yeah, because then you would have active serving.
so,
Well, if you did that, would you put the Garden City logo somewhere on there along with the American flag somewhere? Something like that?
I don't know if I like the Garden City
No.
logo, because it's green to go with the red, white, and blue kind of thing. Eh.
Yeah, no.
All right, next, we're gonna change the logo.
Change the color of the logo. We'll have a blue tree.
We can always do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
can all-
we can have Gary, or it's Gary at Sinorama, right?
Greg.
Greg, sorry. So, I mean, he could kind of put together something that we could email out for everybody to kind of review.
Certainly.
Would that be reasonable? Okay.
No.
So
Logo, though.
this is from Sinorama that's doing this, or?
No,
this is a company
they
that
were
does
they are the company that's local to Garden that I did the initial conversation with about producing the banners.
it? Oh, I see. Very cool.
all right.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a motion to accept the banner program and have the DDA funds pay for this at a publicity and promotion line item. 729-963. And it was seconded by trustee Walkonis.
Okay,
If there's
So
any
now
other
we-
discussion, we need that. Otherwise, you need to call for a vote.
okay. I think we will take a vote if there's no further discussion. All those in favor of moving forward with this?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Okay, next item is the chili cook-off details.
So we decided that we're going to host that on September 7th. This conversation is pretty simple, as long as everyone's okay, as far as the board goes, that I start doing research to find all the items that were needed for last year, so we can bring it to the attention of the board and get it voted on early enough. Things such as sponsorship, seeking sponsorships, securing a band, lining up the liquor license and all the tents and all that stuff. I want to get that stuff on reserve as fast as possible, so we're ahead of the game this year, and we're ready to go. Any comments or additions that need to be talked about?
What size was the tent that we used, the big tent? And did we decide if we were gonna do just two big tents together? You know,
Are you
that
talk-
L shape?
Are you talking the band tent, or are you talking the cook-off area tents?
The band tent was the big one. That was what, 60 by 120 or 100?
I think it was 120. $60 by 120 was the large one, and then those small ones were 20 by 20s that were like put together down the row, and we had 8 of those. Are you wanting to change that tent layout for the chili cook-off area? Is that what you're talking
We had
about?
talked, yeah, we had talked, I thought we had talked about that as one of our things from last year, that maybe we could kind of combine it, make it less out in the open, I guess. I thought we had talked about that, maybe not.
You know, it does ring
Oh,
a
yeah, we
bell.
talked about that. Yeah, I think what you're talking about is maybe changing the layout a little bit so it's a little bit more
Right.
flowing.
But it, yeah,
I guess you'd say. Has a little bit better flow for the customer or the residents.
yeah, and then with the weather, hopefully being in September, the weather should be better, so maybe we don't need, you know,
The sides.
to worry
And the-
about being completely enclosed, or, you know, hopefully it'll be a lot nicer. I really hope so. The band, I'd like to possibly look at some newer bands. You know, I know we've had kind of the same ones. I know everyone likes Bonnie and the Working Girls. Maybe look at a couple of the other, maybe some different bands.
I think the key is booking them early enough too.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a little bit behind on that last year, and that's what happened with a couple of the details. So if everybody's, unless there's any major change that we were talking about, I'm gonna pull up all that research and compile it, and we can talk about it moving forward. And then the other big thing is trying to get sponsorships earlier this year than instead of later.
Yeah, so this year, like, we didn't really have anything last year that was made up with the sponsorships, you know, that we had, right? So does it make any sense to try to have a banner, you know, with the sponsors that are listed? Just so that, you know, there's some recognition there for them, not just maybe on the website, but if we have something at the event so everyone attending can see, you know, who's stepping up to really help put that event together.
And that's where you can donate, Dr. Hyder, if you've been looking to donate.
We could reach out to,
Right?
you know, Cinerama if we're doing,
There you go.
Businesses around.
if
Yeah.
we're reaching out, maybe try and get Greg over at Cinerama
Right.
to print the banner with all
Anything
the
is worthy of a
sponsors, and then
donation.
Correct.
give him
That's
his name on there for free,
So, yeah,
you know, why
right.
not?
Yeah. I think it'd be nice to have a banner or two if we have, you know, several sponsors, but I guess we have to determine what level sponsor you need to be to get on the banner, maybe.
Okay.
Makes
I'll
sense?
start working to bring all that stuff, and we'll work on that for next meeting.
Okay. Anything else
Just
for
wanna
the
go
chili
back to the
cook-off?
Tents. So, you said we had 8 20-foot tents?
20
They
by
were
20s.
20 by 20s, those were the ones that were lined up back to back where the people
Yeah.
were cooking.
So like 4 on each side,
Correct.
so 80, 80. And the big tent was,
60 by 120.
You're
what
looking
about,
at
what was the cost? Do you have the cost for those?
$6,200. Tents, tables, chairs,
Okay.
staging.
I thought we were concerned about the rain, so what I'm thinking is,
Well, I
Because
think
you
we
brought up
only
the
had
tents.
one side, and, well, the back side and the one side had the sides down, but I think the other side, like, there was only one section that was down, so it was kind of wide open for everything else, so if you got some winds or some rain, you know.
so we don't want to
that's-
put that all under one big tent instead?
All of what?
If, well, you could do 20, that'd be 160 by 160, but then you wouldn't, it'd have to be bigger than that because
Well-
you had the open area down the middle. You know where the people cooked?
Yeah.
So you had the two areas, but then you still had the open area down the middle. So to do, you'd probably have to do two, probably a little smaller than the 60 by 120s if you wanted to cover everything.
Well, I'm just saying that we probably have other sizes as well, and wouldn't you just put those around the perimeter?
Which ones?
The chefs, the cooks.
Right, that's where they
Yeah.
are, is
No,
around
I'm
the
saying in
perimeter.
the big tent, though.
I
Under
don't know if
big
there's
tent.
enough space over there. I don't think it's wide enough.
No,
We used all of the 160 by 160, which is what the, would actually be 80 by 80,
No, it'd be 80 by 20.
80 by
and 80
20,
And 80 by 20.
right. You can see if there's tents like that.
Right, so.
I don't know that there are, but
Okay.
I'm just saying that 80 would be covered by the 100, what did we say? It was,
60 by
60
120.
by 120.
I'm just saying, I'd look at the tent sizes and costs. It might be minimal, it might be a better layout. As long as we have time to look and we're not
Right.
rushed. Otherwise, we
Yeah, we
keep
have-
what we have, right?
I believe we have plenty of time, so,
I'd just say we'd look.
oh yeah, get different prices and,
Yeah, it might be close. And then I guess we'd have to, see if we have that area there too. The area, how big an area would support, what size tents would be supported with the area.
Well, I think
And
that
Can we,
that 60 by 120, you know, because on the one side, you've got the motorcycle, you know, judging that happens on that side. And then you've got vendors that are set up kind of on the other side and some food truck, you know, kind of stuff. So like that
blow
whole
up the
area
kids'
is
toys
already
and
kind of
all
taken.
that stuff.
Who's this gonna be in?
this one
The
I'm
chili
saying,
cook-off?
is just
Uh,
look
You're
at.
familiar with
I'd be happy
Planet
to help them with
Fitness?
that. I'll contact them.
So that parking lot, but not the front of it, it's to the south. There's a parking lot space over there that's city-owned, and it's all back in that zone right there behind,
That would
Henry
do more work.
Ford, is it
Beaumont.
Oakwood or Beaumont? It's a Beaumont
behind the
facility?
Beaumont building on
Okay.
Ford Road.
Okay.
All right, so is that it on this discussion for the chili cook-off then? Do you have anything else, John?
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay. Public comments for general items not on the agenda.
just one more thing before you move to that.
Oh.
There's just a P&L in there about the
Yes.
Lucky Squirrel. There's 75% full, and there's just some money that's been income, so I'm just making you aware, that's all.
Okay. And I have to back up here because I think we totally missed, you know, I think we wanted to have a vote on moving the office out of the current facility. So I think we need to add that to the action items.
Well,
So,
you're still another business. You could
okay,
end
well,
up another business and
then we'd
ask
have to
for a
move
mo-
it
ask for
to
a
action.
motion.
Okay,
Letter D?
so, yeah, we'll add D to other business for moving the office location from where it's at currently to City Hall. Do we have any discussion that anyone would like to have on moving the office?
I think that all the discussion we've had on that all boiled down to storage. So do we solve storage? Because,
Well,
That
Mark
was
and
the
Doc
bottom
both
line.
indicate that they have storage that we will be able to utilize.
We will have storage. We have an office here in the City Hall. I think the benefit of it being here is there will always be somebody 8 to 4. There'll be somebody at the window to answer some questions or send them down to Matt if he's in the office, or if he's out on the street, they can get him a message. That would be the building department. So long as the building department's open, they can direct them to Matt. Storage, we have storage. That's not an issue. We can get, DPW can make room, wherever else. I think eventually, I would assume we're gonna digitize most of the files. So that'll save a ton of space on the filing cabinets. I know we just got some in our financials. We got copier machine that was $500 or $600 maintenance. I think we get, we get charged Edison, DTE, one of those,
The internet,
$900 rent. So it's $15,000 to $20,000 a year we save that, part of that could be used for the banners, part of it could be used for the salary, part of it, we're just saving money and, city would probably absorb, I hate to say it,
Fixing the
but,
parking lot, the Kmart center?
what's that?
so
That's first on the
my only
list.
question is,
It's the last on the
I guess
list.
it goes to John, right? Because he's the one that knows about
Right.
all the storage, whatever has to be stored, how much there is. You know everything that has to be stored then, obviously. So were you provided, like, space to see, yes, everything's going to, this will work, or are we just going off the cuff?
I haven't had any discussions about what that looks like yet, so. Last meeting, we discovered that if I go through Doc, the city manager, then we can get permission to use whatever space. So I don't know if you're referring to office storage versus product storage. So we need we, meaning Carter Maintenance, needs accessibility basically 24/7 to have access to get Christmas lights, move wreaths and banners and blah, 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 and all that stuff. So there's that. And then there's the office stuff. And while I think scanning all those documents is a great plan, and some of it is just probably straight ready for the shredder. So you have that.
That's
So
in
there's two
September.
elements there that need to be figured out, and a timeline, and on it goes, right? So
Yeah,
Then we
These are-
need to-
this is the
but you
discussion
need
that needs
start
to be
with that,
had.
Right? I mean, how do you vote on moving until you've actually solved that? So can't you get with, well, Doc's gonna take him to, Doc said you'd have room at,
Radcliffe or
DPW?
DPW?
Yeah, so would you have,
really the biggest thing is probably the table, the desk. I don't know, do we need them? Here's the other issue too, is that property's been sold. We don't know what they're gonna do. They may decide to tear it down. Now we're scrambling,
To find
once they give
someplace.
us a notice.
well, why would we be scrambling? You said the space is there. So all I'm saying is if the space is there, and it's one of these things where you feel like you talk about things at several meetings, right, over and over, and you say, well, how come it hasn't done yet?
So this is my suggestion. My suggestion is maybe myself and Gary Carter can get with Doc and whoever has whatever space to show and see what that looks like. Meanwhile, we can go through the extra storage stuff and make sure that it's down to what, only the things we need. We're not storing all this ancillary stuff that nobody uses anymore. So there's that. As far as the conference table and the desks, it would be my suggestion that DDA just sells it, because there's no reason to move it here if you have the supplies nor the space for it.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, it
there's a
doesn't need to be
conference room
stored.
here,
Right.
and so on and so forth.
Where
So
are
that
the
handles
lights?
that.
You said Christmas, where are the lights and banners or whatever?
All down in that office complex.
I got a
All
suggestion.
that stuff's down there.
So why don't we start with that then?
In
Why don't we
another
start
space?
moving, start scanning,
in
doing
the
that,
back.
so that we can,
Oh, because that would be a motion we'd have to get a company, and then we'd have to find out the cost, and,
All right,
you know.
I got him.
I guess I didn't follow that at all, Mark.
We brought this up under other business for discussion, so it's not an action item. We could vote, but why don't we have this on the agenda for the next meeting, so it's a agenda item for a vote with all the details. So you guys get with Doc, give us all the details, how this move's gonna work, and we can vote on it at the next meeting, because we'll have all the information.
Yeah, if there's enough space provided
Yeah.
for what we need.
If there's a moving company, it's gonna
Yeah.
cost X amount.
So have all the details, have it on the
Right.
next one.
I don't think we'd need a moving company.
No, it'll be
No,
DPW.
but if we don't have the details, then I would say we can't make
DPS got to pick up.
no
trucks,
motion.
they move it.
We have to have the details, so it means that the meetings have to take
What,
place.
okay, what kind of details?
Well, like he said, just whatever we have as a DDA that needs to be stored, right? And he said, well, some of it will be for shredding. That's fine. That can go someplace, right, until we can shred it on shredding day. But just so we can see exactly how much space we have, that he can meet with Doc and Gary Carter and make sure that everything has a place, right? You can't just say, I'm gonna move, and then you haven't set up the move, right?
Well, we have the space.
I think it's about how much space, where is it? Let's, figure out what Mr. Walker said, details, right? Like availability, amount of space needed, the timeline to get this done.
Oh, we've been talking
I'll
about
do
it,
it-
we've
I'll
been
do
talking
whatever.
about it for 6 months.
Well, here's the thing, think of it like this.
You tell me what kind of
Let's say
space.
we both need a closet for our clothes, but I may need a bigger closet than you need. So to
Okay.
say that we have a closet might not do the trick. So let's get the details. Let's see how much we have to store and where it's available. And then, like
Have
he
you,
said,
have you
there are
been in the
things that-
DDA office?
Pardon me?
There's some filing cabinets, maybe a desk. We just talked about the table that could be sold.
Oh, I'm not worried about that stuff. I'm not talking
Well,
about the
then
things that are gonna be
what other
sold.
stuff? We have a whole DPW yard that we can store stuff.
There's 35 wreaths, there's 25 boxes of Christmas lights, there's a
Okay.
whole pallet of lawsuit paperwork.
And that's
There's
all at the
shelving,
DDA
there's-
office?
There's shelving that, no,
another
it's in that office complex down there.
That's what I'm saying
As
about
I say,
details.
Sure.
So we're storing stuff in the DDA zone that we're not allowed to store stuff.
This isn't the point. The conversation is
I
to solve
get
the
that, but-
problem. The conversation is to solve the problem.
To
but it
solve
can't-
the
But
problem of
we're
storage.
still violating our own ordinance, our own bylaws. That supposedly we fixed long ago when we took,
So do you want
everything out
to
of-
so do you want to move the office and the storage because you want to have Matt Miller and accessibility, or do you want to move it because we're violating a storage? Either way, I think the end result is to get it all moved. We have to have the details. We have to figure that out. I'll do whatever.
okay,
it's very simple
apparently
about
from
it.
November to now, when I brought this up, we haven't gotten any details.
It's been a discussion. It's never been an action item.
Okay. So now it's an action item, now we're gonna get details. We couldn't get details before now, from November
In the
till
last,
now.
in the last 6 months, I've been working with Gary Carter to clean out all the things that are not necessary in the storage. So it's been a process, so it has been happening.
Okay. I guess we'll bring a vote on next month. Matt will be here, he should be here, so
He should be, when does he start?
officially, I'm not sure. I believe he's back off vacation this week, so he should be starting probably next week, Monday. Would be my guess, so.
Okay. So let's make sure, let's just move it so that it's an action item for next month.
On the
And,
agenda
Yeah.
with the details.
yes, we will have all the information that we need, how much square footage space is required to hold what we have, and how much we can destroy.
You
I
got
mean,
it.
you've kind of been through a lot of that already, I think, so there's
I
probably
mean,
a
I have my
lot.
suggestions of what you should just destroy and what you need to keep, but, I mean, it's really up to the board, so.
Well, the board's not going
I
to
think
look at
we
all
rely
those
on you for that,
documents
John.
probably, so, that's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
But that
definitely.
office in itself, as I told you, John, when I was there the last time,
Sure.
It-
Do you,
it smells.
how about
It's not-
this? Do you want me to start, is there an opportunity now to start liquidating some of those office things, or you want to do it all as a big bang?
I think
No, I'd go ahead.
one and done.
Liquidate.
Okay?
Well, I
That's
think when I
That's fine.
start liquidating,
think it should-
liquidate. That's less
I-
that you have to look
Yeah,
for
once
storage for.
once you start, I don't know what we're gonna liquidate, so.
Let's put together a list of, property that's in there that needs to be gone, and how we're going to dispose of it, whether it's going to be sold or destroyed.
Well,
I mean, the
We've all been
copier
there,
with the
right, Mark?
contract,
So-
they'll probably
That's why I say
take
that.
that
we're not
out,
going to
right?
keep any of it. None of it, zero, correct?
Well, there's
don't
that,
know.
Filing cabinet, I mean, you don't want the desk, you don't want the table, we don't need any of that, correct?
No, I don't believe, we have an office that's gonna have a desk,
So then why should we wait to sell it? Let's just sell it, get rid of it,
that's fine.
right? And then whatever if we have to move things into that office from somewhere else, just,
But you
Just
don't wanna, I don't think you wanna start selling desks, at least one desk until.
I mean,
he's.
we
we're
need the
complete-
details.
Until we, I guess, agree that we're gonna move out of there. We haven't actually agreed that we're gonna move out of there.
yeah, you can't sell anything
So
until.
you can't get rid of anything until we
That's why
agree
I
to
said
do
we
that.
need the details. We're kicking this horse
I mean,
down the road.
and we've all, well, most of us have been in that office. It's not even enough to accommodate the board any longer because of the size of the board. It's
I don't
It's a
think
small-
that's the issue. I think the whole issue just keeps coming back to storage and just making sure that there's enough storage. I don't think it's an issue
can-
of the move itself.
I'll take care of all of it next meeting.
That's your promise, right?
okay.
Yep.
All right.
As long as he gives us details of how much space he needs, we'll have
Okay.
it all set.
All right, moving on. I mentioned public comments. We don't have anyone here to do that. So next is director's report.
All your information's already in your packet, so I have nothing else.
Okay. Trustee board comments. Dr. Fadi, do you have anything you would like to speak on?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
First time, so just again, the hang of
Getting your
it,
feet
so
wet.
We'll see what happens next time.
okay. Dr. Hyder?
Welcome, Dr. Faddy,
Thank you.
and parking lot.
Yep.
There's probably shovels and truckloads of debris that are back there, and the holes are getting bigger again. So I don't know what it is that we can do to make that. This is not for self glorification. Really. It's for the safety of people coming in and out.
So with that, I think one of the first items we kind of need to deal with Matt as he comes on is there's been discussion of somehow the DDA or the city, takes ownership of the entire lot, that the city owns, and then everything that's in that other
The only way
area.
in and out of that place is literally through that little section that is supposedly owned by the city.
Right.
So.
So
you
I
know,
think we want to try
but-
to get
but-
everything
but-
over there
but
done.
the cleanup is DDA cleanup, so,
Okay.
so I don't know how it is.
While that's a great discussion, his area is already city-owned,
Oh, okay.
flat out.
So it's nothing, is it anything that Gary Carter should be taking care of for
Sure.
cleanup in the DDA? Or does that fall
Technically, no.
outside of his
Well-
purview?
Right, because he doesn't handle the city lots on the other side of the road.
So they, the cities come in and, you know, did the Wayne
Patch,
County
yep.
shovel back and throw the asphalt in, but that stuff just crumbles right into my lot. So, and it becomes like, literally like heavy-duty debris.
Okay.
And then I'm getting the patients coming in, it's like, fix your lot. I'm like, it's not my lot. I wish I could fix my lot. So it's just it's a bad issue. One, looking at the city, two, because it's city-owned. Oh, the city owns it. What are they gonna do about it? I'm trying. But then why don't you fix your lot, Doc? You can't afford it? It's not my lot.
Charge them more for cavity.
Mayor, is that something that the city can address at the same time they're recoating, resealing the other side?
Probably. But we don't know when that's gonna be, because we have to wait till the fire station's done. Which is a whole, it should be by this spring. But no, I'll get with Doc, and I'm sure he'll get with DPW, and our engineers, and we'll figure out something. Something's gotta be done over there. I'm sure we
Keep in
can,
mind that my engineers and my people can do it a lot quicker. But we have to do something internally that I
But-
actually have to buy the property.
It sounds like you need an appointment outside of today.
And I'll list on there that I will not build anything on there. Except for parking space.
we're gonna build a lot right above your office.
No, I'm gonna do rooftop dentistry. So, you never know.
I'll be there in July, when it's about,
With the chili cook-off on top.
go. No, I'll,
Thank you for taking into consideration that.
I will
Appreciate it.
get with somebody, and we'll figure something out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Got a note on that?
Anything else?
Make a note.
I have a note right here.
Randy?
Looking out.
Dr. Fadi, welcome.
I hate driving
to the
into
board.
that
That's all
lot.
I have.
I do
Okay.
too.
Lori, do you have any comments
I
this evening?
support Dr. Hyder. I don't like driving into that lot.
You're not getting a discount. I don't care how much you support them. Full price.
Okay. Mike, Mr. Barry, do you have anything?
No, I just wanted to welcome Dr. Faddy to the board, and another question I would have also is, do we know what's going on yet with the Orange Jeweler property that just sold? The parking lot in the back, anybody have any idea?
There are multiple discussions with the owner, or
About the field,
the owners, huh?
the field that's in the back. That's where my main question would be.
Right now, he does not want to sell that. When we met with him before, we did, Denise and John and I, we did discuss, you possibly would like that.
Or him building a parking lot, like similar to what,
So right now, they don't want to sell it, but we did mention that, but they're still not sure what they're going to do with it.
sounds good?
They're talking many different options, so.
Okay, anything from you tonight, Mark?
Welcome, Doctor. Nice to see you. I think that was it. I'm gonna check on the parking lot, and I think we're good with everything else, so.
Today?
Okay. Yes.
Oh.
Today, well, no, he was appointed to the board in December, I think, but has been unable to attend.
I
for
think
various
later than
I
December.
guess we should have had an
I
introduction.
think it was January or February, I just got him to sign up, but he was out of town for like a month.
So this is his first meeting.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Did I miss introductions? Because,
Oh,
Well, he
Doc-
introduced himself when he got here, but you weren't here yet.
he
So
was on time and you were, never mind.
this,
Doctor-
I was kind of confused.
he'll mark you
I
present.
met you at the dinner, didn't I? We sat together on the same table.
You did sit at my table.
Yes.
I just didn't realize who you were. Okay. So
Yeah.
where is your,
Now you're looking bad.
Henry Ruff and Ford. Ford,
This is Dr. Fadi Nasruddin.
Where is your office?
He's,
He owns the Flex
he
Mart.
runs a business at Ford and Henry Ruff.
The Shell station.
The
Across
Shell station?
Yes.
I'm there all the time.
Fanatic U.
Yes, that's my station.
We're all there.
I've owned it for over 23 years, so I've been there since 2000, I
No.
believe, yes.
Yeah.
And I own a lot of locations in the state of Michigan. By profession, I have a doctor in pharmacy and a doctor in medicine. But I don't.
And a gas station.
And well, I'm in the real estate business.
He's an
And
entrepreneur.
By coincidence, I bought one of Mike's stations too as well, probably about 5-6 years ago, before he moved to Garden City. So yes, I own a lot of businesses in the state of Michigan, and I'm in the healthcare field. I'm in a lot of development, a lot of small businesses. So I'm all over, basically, you can say. And I like to see if I can bring my experience and my knowledge and help the city that my first business started in Garden City.
Hooray.
So that's what I'm trying to do.
And if he's there when you go get gas, he will come out and fill your tank for you.
We have four
I think you will
cars
never
that
see-
go
you will
there.
never see me there. That's a
Oh, 3. My husband goes to Costco. 3 cars that go there.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well,
Elena
welcome,
Toy Store.
Dr. Fadi. And with that, I think we are done for tonight. We can call this
Thank you.
meeting adjourned.
Thank you.